What's up, YouTube? Episode 60 of Mindset Monday. Stay tapped in because today we're going to have a great conversation about the importance of listening to your heart. So drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone who you know can benefit. Let's go. To the point where you grew your grass organic. Everything that you're doing is because of the work. One step at a time. Level up each time. Everything will fall in place. These are all life lessons we're all going to learn together. Quicksand Mindset brand. Tap in. So today we're going to do a read along with the book The Alchemist. I'm going to read a couple pages that popped out to me and brought me value, and I want to bring the same to you guys. So I haven't read this book in a couple months, and 2 nights ago I started reading it again. And I feel honestly every time that I pick this book up to read, it always knows what I'm going through. It knows the lessons that I need to learn, or the questions that I've been asking myself or to the universe or to whoever. And when I picked the book up and started reading, it answered some of the questions that I've been having about life lately. And it just made me real happy, so I want to share it with you guys. And if you don't know about this book, The Alchemist, it's about a boy named Santiago, and he used to be a shepherd. And basically he had a dream where he found himself at the pyramids in Egypt, and he found himself holding treasure and just living a whole different life than what he was doing with his herd of sheep. And so he just began his journey to go and find that treasure. But along this journey, he learned a lot more about himself and about the real treasure within him and within his soul, that is ultimately the life lesson that he learns about the importance of it's not what you have, it's about what you have in here. And so he learns that all throughout the book. And a big part of it is when he speaks to the alchemist, the person who can turn something extraordinary, can turn something simple into something extraordinary. That's what the alchemist can do. When he speaks to him, the alchemist tells him and teaches him to listen to his heart and to listen to his soul. And so I'm going to go ahead and start and read. And as I read, I'm going to break down some of the things that pop out. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to read. So on this part right here, this is page 132. There's not going to be any spoilers. There's really just going to be a lot of gems dropped. All right. So right here, the alchemist says, listen to your heart, because it knows all things, because it came from the soul of the world, and it will one day return there. And so he says soul of the world throughout the entire book. And basically I think what they're getting at here is the soul of the world is the universe, it's God, it's the creator, it's what created living and non-living things in this world. And so he's saying that listen to your heart because it knows everything, because it came from the soul of the world. So anytime your heart gives you a bad vibe or a good vibe, listen to it and really try to understand where it's coming from, and then pick from there, as to what route you want to go. So the boy says, why do we have to listen to our hearts? And they refer to Santiago as the boy, as I read it. So it says the boy, why do we have to listen to our hearts? The alchemist says, because wherever your heart is, that's where you'll find your treasure. Wherever your heart is, that's where you're going to find your treasure. The real treasure. Not the treasure of gold or the money, the fame. It's wherever your heart is, what you're passionate about, what you love, what brings you happiness and joy. If your heart, that's the real treasure, is what he's getting at. The boy says, but my heart is agitated. It has its dreams, it gets emotional, and it becomes passionate over the woman of the desert. And it asks things of me, and it keeps me from sleeping many nights when I'm thinking about her. And so when he refers to her, the woman of the desert, as he was on his journey to the pyramids in Egypt, he found a woman that he just fell in love with, and he can't stop thinking about her. So his heart is conflicted between love but also obtaining the treasure that he's on the hunt for. The alchemist responds by saying, well, that's good. That means your heart is alive. So keep listening to what it has to say. Even if it keeps bringing her up in your memories, that's fine. I mean, it's working. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. That means that she is of importance to you. And she should be, someone that you give energy to. But you're also in search of this treasure as well. So this is important. As he says that, the boy's heart, so they're in the desert, and there's some dangers in the desert. And so his heart began to think and to tell him that, hey, look, maybe this is not going to work out for you. Maybe you're not going to find the treasure that you're looking for. Maybe you will even die here in this desert because of all the dangers that are happening. There's a war in this desert, and he can possibly be a part of the death toll of the war. But then at the same time, his heart is also saying that it's satisfied and it found the love and the riches that it needs. And so with all this confliction happening, Santiago, the boy, asked the alchemist, because the alchemist is also in search of whatever he's in search of. You're just going to have to read that part on your own. The boy asked the alchemist, well, he says that my heart is a traitor. It doesn't want me to go on. And then the alchemist answers back and he says, naturally, your heart is afraid that in pursuing your dream, you might lose everything that you've won. Well, then why should I listen to my heart? The alchemist responds back, because you'll never be able to keep it quiet again. Even if you pretend not to have heard what it tells you, it will always be there inside of you, repeating to you what you're thinking about life and about the world. And I found that extremely powerful, is that it's difficult to keep our heart quiet. Once you start your journey to finding who you are and what you're passionate about and becoming the best version of you, your heart is always going to be thinking, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I'm just a failure and I'm chasing after something that's not going to work out? But then your heart also tells you about all the great things. You can start to envision yourself being in the situation that you want to be in. And it's important to just listen to it. Listen to your heart. It's speaking for a reason. And the reason is for you to become that best version, right? We all need to go through failures, and we all need to find those successes and then figure out how to repeat the successes. What did you do correctly, or what went right for you? And then at the same time, also when you fail, learning how to bounce back from your failures and learning why you failed, right? These are all important lessons in becoming the best version of yourself. And this is what he's trying to tell the boy, the alchemist. He said, you'll never be able to escape from your heart, so it's better that you just listen to what it has to say. That way you'll never have a fear of an unanticipated blow, right? You know on your journey that things are going to happen that are just going to turn you upside down, and this is going to be very difficult. But it's not going to be unanticipated. You're expecting it because you're going in knowing that you're going to try to become the best version of you. And so when that happens, you have to go through these rough times. Right here, the boy goes on. He takes his advice, right? They start going further onto his journey. And the boy starts to have a better understanding of his heart and how it dodges and tries to trick him into believing things. But he's finally coming around to accepting his heart for what it is, right? It's giving him answers that he needs. And he lost his fear, and he forgot about the need to go back to the woman. Now he's really focused on the treasure that he needs, right? In the end, that he's been searching for. Then his heart told him that it was happy. So this is a quote from his heart. Even though I complain sometimes, it said, it's because I'm the heart of a person, and the people's hearts are that way. People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel that they don't deserve them, or they feel that they'll never be able to achieve them. But we, their hearts, we become fearful just thinking of loved ones going away forever, and of moments that could have been good but weren't, or of the treasures that might have been found forever hidden in the sands. Because when these things happen, we suffer terribly, the heart says. Santiago tells the alchemist what his heart is telling him. And Santiago says, my heart is afraid that it's going to have to suffer. The alchemist says, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. That's some powerful stuff right there. We, as people, when we listen to our heart and it tells us that something miserable is going to happen, you start to envision that for yourself, and you start to see everything going wrong, and you're starting to suffer in your head before the event even occurs. So you're basically giving up, or you're giving in to those bad negative energies, and you're assuming that it's going to go wrong. But what if it can turn out better than you can imagine? Right? The thought of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. When you're going through the suffering, you're just going through it like a normal day, but it's difficult, of course, but it's not the end all be all, right? You're going to be able to push through this because you have an understanding of your heart, and you understand that the journey is not going to be easy. You're going to have those ups and downs. And so I love the way he said that, the alchemist, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. I definitely highlighted that one. I put next to it, I put wow, W-O-W, and I was just tapped in on that one. That one really brought some value to me. The last portion that I'll get into, there's one thing that the boy has not yet discovered. And the boy says, what's the one thing that I needed to know? You told me earlier that I needed to know one more thing. What is that? The alchemist says, what you still need to know is this. Before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that we learn along the way. And it does this not because it's evil, but so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, we can master the lessons we've learned. And as we move towards our dream, we get to use those lessons in helping us to achieve what we want. And that's the point at which most people give up. It's the point at which, as we say in the language of the desert, one dies of thirst just when the palm trees have appeared on the horizon. Every search begins with beginner's luck, and every search ends with the victors being severely tested. Then the boy remembered an old proverb from his country, and it said that the darkest hour of the night came just before the dawn. Powerful. I'm tapped in. I hope you guys are really tapped in. This is a great book, and it's teaching me a lot every time I pick it up. The world is going to test you. This is important right here. This is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. The world is going to test you. The soul of the universe, whatever it is you're going to be tested. But you were ready for the test because you've been through a lot in the past already. So everything you've learned in the past, all the life lessons, all the failures, all the successes, you can take that information and then apply it to what's currently happening to you right now. And so whatever you're going through, you're always prepared for the test. You just have to show up, be present, and know that this is it. This is your moment to figure things out. And there's two ways, right? You can either stand up and fight, or you can just bow down and just give up. And that's not the option you're going to go with. You're going to fight. You're going to get through this, and you're going to understand that everything you've been through is going to lead up to this point of being successful. And even if you use all those lessons and then you fail again, it's fine. It's not the end of everything. This is just the beginning. And the more you test yourself, the more that you're going to learn and the more that you're going to grow. You can't grow without resistance. When you're lifting weights, that's resistance that allows you to grow. The muscles need that resistance in order for you to grow those muscles, right? To expand them, to get stronger. And it's just like life. You need to go through that resistance. You need to go through those failures. But you won't be able to achieve what you want if you're not listening to your heart and your soul. So listen to your heart. Listen to the alchemist. Listen to the boy. and then listen to your boy Quicksand. Get this book. You need this book. Trust me. Tap in. I don't know what else to say. That's all I got for you all. Thank you all for listening and watching this video. If you found this thing valuable, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, share with someone who you know can benefit. Episode 61 next week. We're going to keep it running. And that's all I got. Tap out.